Alright guys, so we're back in a different place. Doing construction over there. But anyways, you guys know me, my name's Scotty. I am here to talk to you guys a little about how it is to live in a homeless shelter. So I believe I've been in a homeless shelter for a year and 6 months, or a year and 5 months. And so the first place I was at, it's called Arwell. And, it was a very extremely... I remember being dropped off there, and it broke my heart because, one of my friends dropped me off. And so it broke his heart to drop me off, and it also broke my heart to have to say goodbye to my friends because I was living in a recovery house in Ontario, and I got kicked out, and then I got made to move to Boise, Idaho, into a homeless shelter. So I spent 6 months in this first place. It was extremely religious, and I'm not a religious person, so it kind of messed with me because they would constantly push it on you. Even if you didn't believe it, they would always ask you to go to chapel, always try to get you to read the Bible, always trying to ask you to join their religious program. And don't get me wrong, I understand why they're doing it. They're just trying to help. But I didn't like that. And they're always up in my face about it. And they let a lot of bad people in that just people shouldn't be around these kind of people. But so I spent 6 months there, and I was extremely unhappy. I mean, I had a couple friends there, a couple really cool ass friends actually. A buddy of mine named Aaron, and a couple other buddies there that were just cool as hell, and they helped me get through being there. And that was a year and 6 months ago that I started being that place, and then I spent 6 months in there being extremely depressed, only going out to go to the store or go get something to eat or whatever. But I was never really out and about doing anything. I was depressed. I was angry. I was upset that I had to move from Oregon. I was upset that I wasn't around my family anymore. I was upset that I didn't get to see my family as much as I would like to, because they live all the way in a place called Baker City, Oregon. It's about 2 hours away, but they work all the time, and so they can't really come down here a lot. So a lot of times I was feeling alone there. My friends came twice to come see me the whole time I was there for 6 months. It's because they had jobs and whatever, which I get. But it was sad because I felt alone all the time until I met this buddy, Aaron. He helped me because he was always wanting me to come outside and smoke with him. I didn't smoke, but I hung out with him. Then 6 months go by, he leaves. A week after he left, I got caught with a vape in the building, and they kicked me out for 30 days. So I had to go to another place. Not gonna say the name of it because I don't want to get in trouble. But the staff was a lot more friendly. I met my best friend. He's my best friend out here, and his name is Skip. I met him out here, and he's the one that comes on the videos with me all the time. And he said hi. He told me to tell you guys hi, because he can't be here with me today. He's going to get some teas pulled. But I met him, and don't get me wrong, there was a lot of people around me that had bipolar, schizophrenic, people that just didn't take their meds, people that were angry at life, just people that were not happy. And so I really hate these people. They're moving a fucking tractor right now. I'm sorry, guys. It's a little loud. Hopefully it'll quiet down in a second. Hold on. Come on, dude. Get out of here. But so when I moved in this new place, me and my friend, I met this guy Skip, and we were playing cards and hanging out, and he brought up this thing called Phase One, and I had done a lot of. I've been doing recovery stuff for a year and 6 months now. Except for no, about a year, no, 2 years. 2 years, sorry. I've been in recovery, doing recovery stuff for 2 years now. Um, and uh, so when I met Skip and he was talking about this Phase One, I was like, "What?" And I wasn't really into it because I was kind of meetinged out because I did been doing meetings for so long, and so I was meetinged out. I didn't want to go, and then one day, the leader of the group, I can't say his name on here. I didn't ask him permission, so I can't do that. But I met him, and he said, "Yeah." And he was telling me about this program and telling me how it works and everything. And he said, please come into the meeting. I think you would be a good fit in our program." And it was weird to me because like I said before, I wasn't really feeling it. I didn't want to go to be in programming. And then he told me all the perks, like I'd be able to stay inside. I wouldn't have to wait outside in the heat and have to deal with my prosthetic leg out in the heat anymore. I wouldn't have to deal with none of that. So about a week later, I finally decided, all right, I'll go to these meetings. And I fell in love with it. I loved it. Because it was, instead of laying around, sitting outside doing nothing productive because I couldn't walk very far or all these other things. I started doing something productive in my life, which was doing the program. And I've been doing that. I've been in his program for about a year now. And I love every part of it. I mean, me and him argue sometimes. Like, me and him get into some heated little arguments. But I know that he does it in goodwill, and that he just wants me to be sober and do the right thing and do better in my life. And sometimes it strikes. I got in trouble recently at the shelter because they have rules. Obviously, they have rules. A lot of their rules, like, I'll come back to how I got in trouble, but I want to explain the shelter first. So the shelter is they have a food trailer, so they feed you 3 times a day. As a programmer, they feed you lunch too. It's not the best food, but it's food. It's something you can't be picky because you're homeless. You know what I mean? And you need food. So they put up a program where they can serve us food these 3 times a day. And as programmers, sometimes we have to work in the trailer, and I love it because I know a lot about restaurant work. So part of the programming is you work in this food trailer. But this program, he teaches you how to be patient. He teaches you how to use skills when you're triggered. Teaches you how to be humble. Teaches you how to be appreciative of what you actually have, even as homeless people. Like, I can't speak for all homeless people, but me, I have things to be grateful for. I have my mom, I have my dad, I have my sister, I have my brother, I have my nephews and nieces. I have my Aunt Jamie, my grandma, all these people in my life. I have a lot of people there, and I don't necessarily talk to these people all the time, but I know that if I ever needed them, they would be there. Especially like my Aunt Jamie, my grandma, my mom, my dad. If I needed them, they would be here. So I want to say I love those people, and so another reason why I got in the program is because I want to stay sober for all these people. I want to stay sober for myself, and sitting around doing nothing is not going to do that. It's going to put me back into a relapse. So we get to shower. They have at first, when I first got there, I was just one of the normal people, whatever. They have showers where it's 3 showers, so there's 3 dudes taking a shower with these clear fucking shower curtains. So it was really uncomfortable for me. I didn't like it. I hated that. Made me feel like I was in jail again. But I was also appreciative of the fact that I got to take a shower. because otherwise, I'd be sitting around not showering and being gross. Because at the time I had no money. Um, so even the little things, even before I got into the program, I learned how to be appreciative of what I had, even if it was little things. But like a big thing, like having the family that I do, because that shit's enormous. If I didn't have my family, I don't know what I would do. Um, so I've been in the program work. So I've had times when I was depressed and didn't want to go to class. So there was times that I missed a lot of class because of my depression, and I stayed in bed because also I have spina bifida, so I have stomach issues that I can't control sometimes. So I get sick, um, and so I was missing classes, and he got on me. But he does it, and I was pissed about it because the way I was looking at it is I'm not feeling good. I don't want to come to class and have to run in and out of there to go to the bathroom. So he gets on my ass about that, and I understood it. And so he does it out of love, though. That's the thing. Um, but also, you deal with a lot out. Like so, the program is helping me a lot because of what I deal with at the shelter. I deal with a lot of disrespectful people. I hear people disrespect the staff, and it makes me angry. It pisses me off. Sorry for the cussing, but it makes me angry. And I'm that guy that I believe in respect. I believe you respect everybody equally until they give you a reason not to respect them. So, um, there's was a lot of times that I was struggling with that, but through doing phase one, not only did I work my way into phase two, but I found out that they had NA and AA programs there, which I love NA and AA. I always have. So I started doing that a lot too. So I was working hella on my programming. And then I got into this depression because I got over too many classes. I was burnt out on classes. So got into this depression and I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was rude to my friends just because I didn't want to talk. And it's because of you sit in the shelter and there's a lot of despair. There's a lot of people that, like I said, have bipolar problems or mental problems just in general. And you have to learn to be mindful of that and not be judgmental of that and respect the fact that, okay, this person has a mental problem, but don't judge them for that because it's not their fault. Um, and then you have the people that have the mental problems that are very disrespectful and they'll say things to you under their breath. Like there's a guy there that kept telling me to kill myself, but then he was explaining to me that he has schizophrenia and he talks to his schizophrenia. But still part of me was angry because like I'm bipolar and I handle it differently. But then I learned to understand after that situation that not everybody that has the bipolar and the schizophrenia is the same. We all kind of freak out the same. Like me, if I let things build up and build up and build up and then I explode. And in the shelter, dealing with all these things like people on drugs or alcoholics or whatever it is on the sideline that you're dealing with up in your face all the time and you can't really escape because you have to be there by 8 o'clock. When you go in there, it's people everywhere, and it's different people from different backgrounds. You have people that have been through on the streets. You have people that have never had parenting. You have people that are doing drugs. You have people that are depressed and angry and pissed off. You have the bipolar people. Um, you have the people that are so scared of people that they can't talk to anybody, even though they need to. They need somebody to talk to. You have people that are sheltered. You have people that, you know what I mean? Just all these things, like people with disabilities, even. You have all these things that are there all at the same time, and you're sitting in it, and it starts to mess with your head. It starts to make you angry. It starts to make you depressed. It makes you sad of the situation you're in, and it makes you want to cry because you're there. Um, and I still get upset that I'm there. I hate it. It makes me depressed and angry. But I've learned to be more positive and do these videos because for you guys, because all the stuff when I go home after I do these videos, you guys don't see what's off screen with me. I go home and deal with the shelter, and it's sad. A lot of it makes you sad, not for yourself, for other people, what you see. All these people that refuse to get help, or people that just don't know how to ask for help. And it makes you sad, and there's sometimes that like, because I'm a very giving person. If you need money, if you need something to help, if you need somebody to talk to, I'll sit with you and I'll talk to you, and I'll try to steer you in the right way. Even if you don't need me to tell you anything, you just need to listen to me, or you to listen to me to listen to you. Like, I can do that for people, and I've learned to do that over time. And it's like, and then there's people you see in the shelter that don't want help, but you still want to try to help him, and you try to help him, and then it fails, and it makes you sad because you feel like it's your fault. Um, and I have friends even that, when they fail, it makes me feel like it's their fault, and when they don't take care of their health, it makes me feel like I'm not being enough of a friend and telling them, hey, do this, which I do that, but it feels like I'm not doing enough. And then they have health problems and they have to go to the hospital, and it hurts your heart to see it because you hope. I've had a friend die every year since I was 13. So in the shelter, it's even, you get friends and they're in a position where it's not really healthy. So you never know when somebody's going to die. And I hang out with one of my friends is Skip, and he's 61. And so I get scared for his health because, he can die from not taking care of himself. And then the rest of my friends are about my age. And it's the cool thing about the shelter too. I got friends now that I would have never gotten before. If it wasn't for ending up in the shelter, I wouldn't have my friends like Bo, Skip, my buddy Shiloh, my buddy Eric. I have all these friends that otherwise I would have never met them. And so there's a lot of the shelter stuff that I am grateful for, but there's a lot of it I hate. And the thing is, though, it's only on me to change it. And I got people like, I wish I could say his name on camera, but I don't want to disrespect him. But the guy that runs our groups, I've gotten a lot of love for him. He's like family to me. He's saved me from my own stupid mistakes. And all he does is, he just tells me to come back to the group, tells me he loves me, tells me he wants to see me do good. And he does. He tries. And there's times when I take that for granted. And it hurts me to realize that afterwards. But sometimes I think it's good for me to have those reality checks. And then we have another lady comes in. She is a recovery person that made this thing called the Grunt Meter, and she comes in sometimes and talks to us, and she is one of the most inspirational people in the world. And if I could say your name, I mean, you guys wouldn't know her anyways, but it's an anonymity thing. But she comes in and teaches us about, your feelings and how to deal with them. And she comes up with different exercises, like how to deal with your anxiety, how to deal with your panic attacks, how to deal with all these things she does. And she's one of the best people I've ever met. And then they have this other lady that works there that helps the guy that runs our group, so she helps. And they have been the best backers other than my mother. My mother and my father are my number one backers, will be for the rest of my life, and I know they are, and I love them so much. But I also have these other people, like all my friends and the recovery coach and the other assistant recovery coach, I guess. Um, and every staff member at the shelter that I stay in, like I said, I can't say the name just because it's an anonymity thing. It's out of respect. But they've done so much for me. They made it to where I could get my disability finally, which I couldn't do in Oregon because Oregon wouldn't help me. They kept messing with me and denying me. I came out to Oregon, and the first year they gave it to me, and it's making it to where I can actually do things with my life. It's making it to where I can do. I bought the cameras for the YouTube, and so shelter life. You know, I've lived on the streets before, and it's not. Shelter life is so much easier, and it's so much more. You have so much more to be grateful for at the end of the day. Um, and it's changed my perspective on everything, because I've never been in a homeless shelter before. When I've been homeless, it's been out on the actual streets. So it was a learning curve for me to deal with this whole thing, and I have to deal with people that different pronouns and different sexualities and different all these other things at the shelter that are things that I didn't grow up with. I grew up in a little redneck town to where, I don't know, we were just a bunch of redneck kids doing redneck shit. Um, Out here, it's different. There's like a variety of people that I've never been part of. Um, I've had friends that were gay in the past, but I've never, like we hung out on stuff. Like one of my best friends used to be gay, and so my buddy Skip, he's gay, and he's my best friend, and he was just because he was the coolest person that I met there. He was the most, don't want to say normal, but he was the one that I was most comfortable with talking to just right away because he was just cool. And he's from the 60s, so he's an old, kicked, not old. I'm not saying he's old. He's a 60s, kick back, laid back dude that does all these things. Like he's working at the shelter, and he has fallbacks, and it makes me sad when he has fallbacks. But he comes back, and he comes back on top, and he's doing so much better now, and he's doing the things that he's got to do. So he's gonna be part of our stuff, and that's another thing. Life in the shelter, it breaks people, and it hurt him. It started to mess with him because we're stuck there and all these other things, and we're trying our best to get out, but we can't seem to find a place. And it was messing with him, so it keeps driving him to mess up. And it's not his fault. He's an addict. Addicts relapse, but it hurts me to see him do it because I know I can't do anything about it. But then he's coming back and he's doing everything he can now. He's not doing his best not to drink. He's working at the shelter where I live at now. And he finally got his disability, and he's doing good. So that's my thing is, like, everybody handles the shelter life different. And if you ever end up in a shelter, just know, like, the situation's only bad if you make it bad. Don't get me wrong. There's some shelters that are bad to go to, and it's run down and it sucks. But it's better than being on the street. Staying in a shelter, at least you have a bed to stay in. Not sleeping. But there's the shelter. You can, like, you know what I mean. You can hang out, and you get to meet all these different people, which is, like I said, otherwise I would have never got to do. I mean, don't get me wrong. Through my addiction and through my recovery, I've met the most badass people. And they are the most. I love them. Everybody that I met in recovery, I love you more than you even know. Because they all became friends to me. Everybody that I met in the rehab. We're still friends. Like, I still message them and talk to them. And then my brother Bryson, we're not blood related, but I love this kid with all my life. I met him. I knew him when he was a kid, and I ran with him in the streets, taught him how to make sure he didn't get in trouble and do all these other things. And he did good his whole life. But he became an alcoholic, and he had to get help. And I got to go to rehab with him. It was cool. And then through my addiction here, through my recovery here, I've got to meet the coolest people. And that's the thing about recovery is it's you just got to reach out and grab it. And in a shelter, it's really hard to get your brain to be like, yeah, I need to reach out and take care of this. But once I started to feel like I was going to fall back into bad things, somehow life caught me and I found recovery again. I found recovery classes again. I found a home group that I have that I love. Um, Even though sometimes I don't love going to the classes, I love the group because they give me support and I support them. So it's an equal thing in the shelter. And so we all know we got each other. So it makes it a little bit easier to go get in the shelter, be in the shelter. So if you can find people, if you're an addict, a recovering addict, whatever, and you get in the shelter, still make sure to do your recovery. Put your recovery first. You know, I go to classes first day thing in the morning. I do classes before anything else during the day. That's my thing. I do that, and then I come out and I film for you guys, and then I go back and I put them up, put these videos up. Um, so I'm going pretty much all day, guys, and I still, you know, even this helps me get out of the shelter, and it helps me do something positive. So I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but you guys are helping me create positivity in my life by following me or subscribing to me and liking the videos and talking to me on comments and all these things. You guys are the ones making it possible. And I appreciate every single one of you. Every person that I met through addiction, I love you guys too. Um, and I just wanted you guys to know that, you know, even through all the struggles and living in the shelter, I'm still doing recovery because I love my recovery. I love being sober, off meth, off pills, you know, not doing anything bad anymore. And it makes me feel good to do that now before I just love drugs. Um, and, you know, now that I've been through and been in recovery as long as I have, I more despise drugs than I do anything. I don't want to be a drug addict. I just want to be normal and not normal, but sober and feel good about myself. And you know, despite my disability and my losing my leg, you guys still support me and you guys still show me love. Where a lot of people would make fun of my disability and make fun of the fact that I lost a leg. And you guys are the ones that support me and help me and make me feel better in life. And that's another thing. There at the shelter, despite all that, I feel like I'm part of something. And they don't judge me because of my disability or losing the leg. Other people in the shelter, other than my recovery group, like to say stupid things about it. But because of you guys and because of my recovery my recovery home group, and because my mother and father and my family and everybody back home, um, it makes my recovery possible and it makes me happy and it makes me feel some kind of peace. Where in my life, I haven't felt peace since I was a kid. That's the only time in life I've ever felt peace in my life. But over the last couple months, because of you guys and because of my recovery, and finally realizing like I'm not a piece of shit because of my past. I'm not a piece of shit because I'm in the shelter. I'm not a loser because I'm in the shelter. I'm not a loser because I'm my past. My past don't define me. It's about what I do with my life now. And doing this is what I want to do with my life. I want to be a YouTuber. And, you know, you guys are the only reason it's possible. And please, please, if you watch my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I need the support really bad, and I would love you guys so much. Please just do it. Please, please, please subscribe to my channel. Please. Also, I want to thank our sponsors, W Energy. You guys are beautiful people, and I'm so glad you guys reached out to us because it's amazing. I don't have any product on me now because we need more. So W, if you hear this, please send more. But anyways, we're about at 30 minutes, so I just want to say I love you guys. Keep it positive. Tell your story. Even if you don't think your story is important, please tell somebody your story because you might save somebody's life. And if you're living in a shelter or in the streets, find help. as best as you can. I love you guys.